During Arizona's Pro Day, wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan ran a 4.48 40-yard dash, which is going to add some fuel to this polarizing discussion that continues to surround the 2025 prospect. I didn't expect to see that number either, but when you see something that you don't expect during the pre-draft process, specifically at the Combine and Pro Days, takes you back to film. So let's dive in right now and talk about wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan, how he wins specifically, and why at the end of the day, this 40-yard dash didn't mean much to me before or after it, because that's not how he wins. He doesn't win with speed, even though he has better footwork than he gets credit for. I think he can be more explosive in his release packages than he currently is. But right now, this is what I want to focus on, the release package. This is an area where he does have to get better at the next level, because a lot of it is the exact same. We see Tetairoa McMillan against man coverage at the top of your screen. He's going to kind of hesitate, jab step, get upfield, and then come inside on the quick slant. This is the go-to for him with the release package. It's more of that hesitation, jab step to the outside. But what I do like about it is that he takes advantage. So when he gets that jab step outside, you're going to see the DB back off as well. So McMillan is going to use that space, get vertical, and continue to push him, make him turn his hips so that he has to run with it upfield just that half second, and then hit the quick slant and take advantage of the space created. Needing a little bit more variation to that release package will create better opportunities against NFL corners, but this is really where he does shine, in that short to intermediate. I think he's got more explosion in his first step than he has right now. I think he could utilize a little bit more of that in the release package as well, but you love to see what he does after he catches the football. His catch to attack mentality is one of the best that I've watched in this class. And then you can see how he's able to use his size. Coming in at 6'4", 219 pounds, he does a great job catching the football, identifying where the nearest defender that's going to be coming at him is, and then how to get out of the way. So he's going to sink his hips and then jump out of the way, using that momentum to kind of slingshot him back around into this space for yards after the catch. That's exactly what you want to see from somebody who, again, isn't the most explosive guy in the world, maybe doesn't have that 4.48 speed on tape, but how is he going to utilize the speed that he does have? This is how he's able to do it, and getting into space is one of the things that he does best. Everything from release package to a little bit more explosiveness with his footwork, I do think he needs to add some versatility to that. So that's one of the big things that he does need to improve upon. Where is he going to be asked to separate downfield, right? That's another area in his game that's not his hallmark, right? He's not a speed guy down the field, but what he lacks in terms of pure speed, he makes up for in body control, timing, hands, catching, attacking, and then body awareness at the sideline. All of those things here. So he stacks that DB vertically, right? He's going to come around here to the outside. And what is more important for him is stacking the DB. It's not necessarily winning with pure speed around and creating a step for him. It's about stacking. So he is right here side by side. That's his, and for him, he's basically won that stacked ability right there. So he is stacked with that DB. You got the safety right there closing on it, but this is where you want to be. Eyes in a position where we can track the football. We can see where it's going to be, and then he can make an adjustment to the football wherever it's going to end up. And that's what he does right here. So he goes, he sprints down the field vertically, then he stops, right? Puts his foot in the ground, uses his hands to kind of keep that DB going upfield, tracks around, catches that football through contact with that safety coming to deliver another hit, and then he's able to catch that to the ground. So he's not going to win with pure vertical speed, explosiveness. Those aren't the hallmarks, right? So how does he win? This is how he wins. He wins in timing. He wins with hands. He wins with physicality. And then after the catch, what we saw in that first clip, you see he's able to find space. So I know that there's going to be some people worried about the lack of release packages, maybe the lack of pure speed down the field. Where it comes into focus is improving upon the release packages. That's going to be more of a make or break thing. And I will say personally, when you watch him over the last 2 seasons, it doesn't appear that Arizona was doing a ton to teach him himself. So I do think he needs to get with just some of these wide receiver coaches outside of just on his own to be able to work on that. And I'm more than willing to accept that. I think he's going to be able to do that, in my opinion. So where is he winning? Route, tempo, right? We talked about explosiveness. I'd love to see him attack with more first step explosiveness. I do see him with it. You see it at that first step after the catch where he's able to really use his footwork and create a little bit more separation. Again, he's not going to run away from a ton of people at all, but I do think he has more first step explosiveness than he leads on, especially right here. But this is brought route tempo, right? He's got nobody else outside here, so he's going to lure this DB into a false sense of security. Again, with that tempo, he's not really running off. Then he just kind of explodes through that. For him, he accelerates through, I should say, not explodes. He accelerates through, and then we get inaccurate ball placement, right? So he's got a lot of space to work with, and he understands that he wants all of this space on the outside. He wants to be able to get into it. So he's going to release inside, again, slow play the DB, and then he's going to get into this space vertically down the field where he's going to be, pretty much allow Noah Fifita to give him some error, right? Some room for error. Unfortunately, this ball goes way outside the numbers, and then he's not able to make a play on this football. There was a lot of plays left on the field by their quarterback, Noah Fifita, who had a pretty bad season for a guy who's not the best quarterback in the world anyway. So you have all of these different misses from McMillan here. Again, in a very good situation where he's stacked the DB, he's able to track. His ball tracking is very good. So you see, again, he's got space to work with. If this ball is close, he's going to make the play. He's going to make the catch because there's enough space for him to do so. But it's not. It falls over towards that right sideline. So areas where he wins, using more releases at the beginning, through his route, a little bit more stem manipulation like we saw with the route tempo. Those all really work out for him. But his body control, his timing, and his awareness, I think, really separate him. Sorry, wrong person. Down here at the bottom of your screen. Really separate him from why he's one of the top prospects in this draft class. And really, he has an absolutely fantastic gift to understand space. You'd see a lot of wide receivers give up at times when the route breaks down or when the play breaks down, especially if they are way away from it. So here, one, you can appreciate the way he can sink his hips, right? So he's just running a comeback route, but Noah Fifita now has to get out of the pocket, right? He's got to get out to his right. And Fifita's all the way on the opposite side of the field. So he's got to find a way to help his quarterback out. And what's he going to do? He's going to use his gift for space, right? That understanding. He's still coming down here, running his route. Post route, this is where he starts to become a very special player. It's not just what you do during the route, during the planned play, how things break down, where are you giving yourself an option, and how can you break out your quarterback if he needs your help. Now, he's not giving up on the play here. He does drop this football. It's not a problem for him. He does not have drops on his tape that are just really, really worrisome. This is just an unfortunate drop for him, but you love the work that he does to not only get back into the play, but give his quarterback an option. He's got time. He's able to sit here. He moves out to his right, but you don't even see McMillan in the framework of this entire play until right now. There he is. He's screaming across the field, and that's where you see him trying to make the play here. So a really good football, honestly, thrown from Fifita, just glances off his hands, but that's what you want. So we've seen now 4 plays where McMillan is winning in a lot of different ways, right? That first one, the release, it pushes the DB outside. He creates some space underneath. Then he's able to get into space after the catch. Second one, he goes downfield and where his speed isn't the best, but he makes adjustments to the football. He has great body control. That third one is route tempo, right? He gives himself space. He's working with space, more of a reduced split, not fully outside. And then he accelerates through the arc there and is able to get into space. Quarterback misses him. And then the fourth one, you see him work all the way back from left to right. He drops the football there. So production, great. He had really good production. He would have had way better production with a better quarterback at Arizona. But overall, we talk about all the different ways that he still can improve, but we're seeing how he's still winning within those reps. So projection is part of the process as well. We always want to see how he's working with the tools that he has and lacks some of the other ones as well. So he still needs to get better using more explosive footwork, in my opinion. Like right now, we're going to see him in the slot where, again, he has that outside, inside versatility. But what's open? What is considered open here and in the NFL? Because that's really what it comes down to. You're not going to see a bunch of reps from Tetairoa McMillan where he is just breaking DB's ankles in the NFL and creating a ton of space. he still has room to grow as a route runner. I think he's a very good route runner right now. But here, you've got inside leverage. He's going to kind of slow play this and then break across the face. This is where, again, I would love to see him attack more vertically. So he starts inside leverage, you get outside leverage. So he's trying to move that defender outside. But this is where you see ball placement come into play, okay? Yes, DB does a great job breaking this up. There's not a lot of speed from McMillan on the play. But what's open versus not open? This is NFL open, and McMillan is open. And the reason that it's important to remember what's open versus not open is that if this ball's thrown here instead of here, back behind him, it's a completion. As we know, McMillan is one of the best receivers, not just in this class, but out of the last few classes of attacking the football with his hands. He's so good at attacking them. He's got 10-inch hands, and he really utilizes them in around his body. Great catch radius. We've seen it at times. Again, if this ball is out in front of him, this is going to be a catch. He's open. He can extend. He's got nearly 32-inch arms. He can extend and make plays away from his body. Are you always going to be in position to make that play? No. So is he open? Yes. And then he has an incompletion because of not being able to create a ton of separation. Again, that's where you come back into being able to have the conversation of what's open versus not open. This is the same situation on the bottom of your screen, this time against press coverage on the outside. And he's going to do the same thing, a little bit of a slow play, not create a ton of separation, but this is what I'm talking about. You're going to have plays. And that's why I want to showcase him working against close coverage. You're going to play against good man cover corners in the NFL. What tools are you utilizing, and how is the quarterback play at the NFL going to really amplify and exemplify him as a player? You see right there, attacks the football. He's able to work towards the ball with that DB on his back. If Fafita would have thrown the football in front of him on the play previously, we're talking about a completion. But this is where those little ball placement things come into play, and how he's able to utilize his body, his strength. I personally think he's one of the more underrated strength wide receivers in this class. People just say, oh yeah, he's a big body guy, but he's just not the best after the catch. This is another one of those things where he's working around catching the football, and he's going to get back into space because he's hard to bring down by one guy, and he has very good body control. Again, he can sink his hips, he can still move his feet while he's doing so. So just showcasing open versus not open. Both of them are open, technically speaking, but working how you create that separation and how you utilize the little tools here and there from quarterback to wide receiver are what make Tetairoa McMillan different. And this is another one of those spots right here where he's now free of that DB. He's going to take his right shoulder and lower it into that oncoming defender right there. Boom. And then he's over. He broke that tackle there. Hand gets down as well. I really appreciate his vision and catch to attack mentality that he has. It's really underrated for me, even though he's not going to be the most explosive guy in the world. Again, it's not really what you're banking on him, what he's going to win at in the NFL. And then again, you have that timing coming in where you see the DB opening his hips, and then you have the speed out from McMillan. Again, he doesn't come down easily. He attacks the football in the air. These are all things that translate, that are consistent, that you can continue to win on in the NFL. So utilizing the space in front of him, I'd love to see him get better with his release packages. But overall, as a player, we're talking about somebody who understands space better than just about any other wide receiver in this class, not named Travis Hunter. I love Travis Hunter. He is my wide receiver 1. But there's a reason that McMillan still, in my opinion, should be drafted inside the top 10 of this class. And it's because he's special. He's a special mind player, okay? You want those kind of players. He doesn't have the elite physical tools in terms of the speed, explosiveness like that, but he has really good body control. Again, at 6'4", it's hard to find guys that can sink their hips as well as he can. I think his footwork is still very good. It's efficient. It's not, again, I would love to see more of that explosiveness. We're going to come back to that because there's always things you can improve upon, and we talk about that all the time. But right here, being a guy that can continuously go downfield and find one-on-one situations, it's about that stacking. I talked about it earlier. Being able to stack DBs is just as important for him than speed is for other receivers because of that body control, that ability to come back to the football. And then he eventually would have broken that tackle and then gotten into space again because he's very underrated with his strength and his ability. So that timing, hand timing, body control, ball tracking comes back to it. While the guy is pulling him back, right? He's trying to push towards the football. And that's, again, strong hands that you see. That's all levels of the football field. He's obviously going to be a very big player in the red zone. You can see that coming to fruition at the next level as well. But overall, where are you going to find him in multiple different situations where you can play him on the outside, on the inside? You shouldn't be wasting a player like this just running a bunch of go routes. That's not his game, and it's really not where you want him to. Can he win those 50 balls down the field? Sure. We know he can. We've seen that happen. But you want to utilize him in a lot of different ways like this. I love this play specifically because he's going to come up underneath. There's a zone defender here who's going to try to push him outward, create some contact there, and reroute him. But what you like about it is that McMillan clears that contact. He dips his shoulder right there. And then he's going to work outside. He's going to make that DB think he's going to the corner route right there. And instead, he's going to come back around and then work back towards the football. So pushes him off, and then you see him come back to the football. The route's not over at the break point. You come back to the football, give your quarterback an option there. That's why he's a special player. He's always working back to the football. We see how he can manipulate guys. He fights through contact. He doesn't get rerouted extremely easily at the top of the route. If you get hands on him, it'll be easier to keep up with him, obviously. But when you see the different tools that he has, really good hand usage throughout the route as well. When it comes to press coverage, you'll see he try to push off, swipe away, swim over. He has all of those things in his tool bag to be able to win at the line of scrimmage with his physicality. What he can be is a true number one for a team that allows him to function in the offense as a guy you move around, you put in motion, you put him in stack formations. You can line him up on the line of scrimmage, but you can put him in slot. You can make those one-on-one situations as long as you know how to use him so his brain is still functioning and being one of the biggest reasons that he wins. Route running, space recognition, and then being able to use that recognition to get into space after the catch. I think he's very good and efficient finding ways to do that. So a couple of things he needs to improve upon is that first step explosiveness, because I've seen it at times, but I want to see it more throughout the stem. So you can utilize that speed, sell vertically more, and then break off. I do think we see that as well. And then the release variation. He's still very good at manipulating and moving guys with speed and tempo throughout his stem and then at the top of his route. But that initial release, that first, I don't want to see just a bunch of stutter, jab step, go back inside, or the reverse. It's a lot of that. Work on that a little bit more. But overall, he can do that. Those are all very coachable aspects for him outside of the game. He's just got to work on it, and I think he has the work ethic to be able to do that. So Tetairoa McMillan definitely should still be a top 10 player in this class, no doubt in my mind, because of all the things that he does within the game and with his brain that separate him among the players in this class. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown, really more of a detailed description of how he wins versus other players and why he's different in that regard. So please, if you guys are new to the TDN channel, please hit that sub button right now, hit the like on the way out, and I'll see you guys next time.